afternoon. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Staff of Life, Carl's Kitchen. And today we're going to be making jackfruit pot roast, or I guess you could say roast beef. But we're going to be using the jackfruit. Again, good afternoon. My name is Chef Carlyn, and I am going to share with you my dinner. We're going to be making jackfruit roast beef. So I'm going to be using the jackfruit. This is how it looks. Now, I just want to remind you when you get them, and this is from the can, and these are the young jackfruits. If you can see them. Move this out the way. They have these little pods in them, and I was going to try to see that I get them all out. There's one. I just want you to see. They're kind of tough, so you need to take them out if you see them in there. See, can I find one? And look how that meaty that looks. This makes excellent tuna for tuna sandwiches. Okay, here's a little part. They're kind of hard. There it is. Look like a pea. See it? So you want to take them out. They're kind of tough. So, and then what we're going to do is use these. And this is going to be your vegan plant-based beef, so to speak. You know, this makes excellent barbecue. See how it shreds? And you can make chicken nuggets. Well, you know it's not chicken, but it was emulated. There's another part. So I'm just getting them all out. And I had my pan on the stove and got a phone call and almost burned it up. But we're going to be using it. Got a little smoke in here. Now, the first thing we're going to do is tell you what our ingredients are. Let me take this back off the eye here. We have the vegan Worcestershire sauce. It calls for, you know, originally people used to use red wine. I'm going to be using, and I'm going to show you, I think this is kind of, if it calls for like red wine, I got hibiscus flowers, made the tea, and here it is. Looks like red wine. You can add something else to it if you want. A little lemon juice, whatever, but I'm not going to do anything with it. So a cup of that, 2 tablespoons of the sauce, I'm going to say the whisper sauce. And then we have 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. And I thought I was going to use water, but I think I'm just going to let my broth. We have 2 cups of, I call it my vegetable broth. And we have our potatoes and carrots, onions. Now the seasoning calls for a tablespoon of rosemary, and I have fresh, so I'm going to chop that up a little bit. You need less if the herbs or your herbal seasonings are fresh. Then if it calls for a tablespoon of dried, then you use about half that amount of fresh. This is my thyme, 2 tablespoons. Then we have the sea salt. I use the same spoon that I had my thyme in. So, but it's a teaspoon of salt, teaspoon of cayenne pepper. This is 2 large cloves of garlic minced. And there you have it. Now let's proceed to the stove. We're going to put in first our onions. And the pan should be kind of warm so you can hear it sizzling. And then I'm going to give it a minute. Not even a minute, a couple seconds. And then we're going to add in our garlic for a couple seconds. And then the jackfruit. Okay? So we have everything together. In this pot, we have the oil. And then we have the onions sauteed for maybe 5 minutes. And the garlic, less than a minute. And then we're going to add the jackfruit to the pan. Again, hello, hello, hello. For those that are here, we're going to be making jackfruit pot roast. If you want to put it in the oven, I'm just going to put it in my pan, leave it on top of the stove, and cook it that way. Doesn't necessarily have to go in the oven unless you just wanted to. But I can do everything right here. Now, as you can see, or you probably can hear, the onions are sizzling down. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Those that are seeing this live and those that are in the class for today. I have been not so much under the weather, but pretty busy so much that I haven't been able to do as much live as I wanted to do, you know, for the last couple weeks. But we're going to get back on track and try to catch up. And I want to show you something while that's simmering. I know you're going to say, oh, this probably looks gross to some people. But I had that hibiscus juice, and so I put some gluten. I poured some, about a half a cup of it in some gluten and cooked it a little bit. And I'm going to see what we can make with these little steak pieces that we used. Didn't want to waste, and plus I have enough for me to drink a cup of tea. All right, now it's time to add in our garlic. Let's get that in. I'm going to let that cook for a few seconds, and then we're going to add in our jackfruit. Now I love to make my barbecue. When I make the buns, I make the jackfruit barbecue. And sometimes I do the chicken barbecue out of my sauteing that I make, the sauteing chicken. Okay, and I'll bring this up close so y'all can see how this is cooking once I get the jackfruit in there. All right, now we're going to put the jackfruit in, toss it around, and I pray that everyone has had a blessed day so far. God woke us up this morning. That's a blessing. All right. Now this is how the jackfruit is looking. I'm going to get myself a little hot plate. So I don't have to, and while I'm using this kitchen anyway. This is the way it's going to look. We're going to let it cook for another 5 minutes or less. Let it brown. And then, after we do that, we're going to add our vegan red wine, the Worcestershire sauce. And we're going to add the thyme, all our seasonings. And then after we do that, we're going to stir a little bit. And then we're going to put everything together. I'm going to add the cornstarch to the broth. And I have a little whisk to do that with. But right now, well, once the jackfruit, everybody can do it, time it differently, but I'm going to add my, I think I'll do my potatoes. I put the jackfruit on my food. All right. All right, we're going to add our potatoes in. Then we're going to season it down. Some people put the potatoes in near the end and the carrots, but I want my potatoes and carrots to be seasoned along with the rest of it. All right. You can turn the eye up. Give you a pretty picture of what it looks like when everything is in there. Okay, now let's add our cayenne, thyme. Thyme is coming to an end almost. All right, now rosemary, you can leave it like this, or you can kind of dice it up a little bit. Let's see, can we give it a little dice. roast, you can smell the rosemary. Oh, there's nothing like fresh rosemary. Now, we're going to put it back on the stove. And that eye gets pretty hot pretty fast. Can you hear it? I'm looking for my little, nice little clean, impeccable clean rag. There we are. Tossing this around. Smells good. And what we're doing is letting the flavors merge in and marinate in it. And then when we add the, we forgot our salt. We don't want to forget the salt. Okay, let's add our sea salt. Okay, that was a teaspoon of that. We can go over the ingredients one more time. I have it written down in case I forget anything. You know, I'm so young. And to the point, the younger I get, the more I forget. All right, while this is cooking, I'm going to read those ingredients. We're making pot roast, jackfruit with the jackfruit. And we have in our pan about 2 tablespoons of olive oil. And then we have 1 small onion. It can be white or yellow. I use 2 cloves of garlic and I mince those. 2 tablespoons of the vegan whispering sauce, which is a sauce. 1 cup of red wine, which I made mine out of, I told you, we made it out of the, let me show you so you won't think some people don't believe that they can use herbs to use the hibiscus flower to make our red wine. And we use 1 cup of it, okay? And then we had a teaspoon of thyme, a teaspoon of rosemary, 1 teaspoon of sea salt, or 1/2 teaspoon of cayenne pepper, 2 cups of my vegan broth that I made, vegetable broth, and 2 tablespoons of cornstarch, which I'm going to mix in there. And I use 3 potatoes. I don't want a whole lot of potatoes in there, but if you want more and you're making a lot, you can go with 1 pound of red potatoes, the little red ones, if you like. I did 3 carrots, stalks of carrots, but you can use whatever. Some people put celery in theirs, but I didn't use celery, okay? And then the can of the young jackfruit. And we put all that in this skillet and we'll round it up. Now it's time to add the red wine, hibiscus juice. Put that on high. We're adding the sauce. And then, while we'll give this a stir. And while that's simmering a little bit, this is looking, let me let you look at it so far. Got it going pretty good here. It smells delicious. Oh, and I'm telling you, that thyme and rosemary make you think of Thanksgiving. All right, which is almost around the corner. All right, let's put that back on. We're not going to bother that for a while. We want that to cook down a little bit. And then we're going to add our broth, vegetable broth, and I make mine with herb seasoning, nutritional yeast flakes. And we're going to add in our cornstarch into our broth. Let's get it all out, can't waste. All right. Let that whisk up together. Lower high. Now, some people can put this in the oven. You can cook it in the oven if you like, bake. Or you can do it the way I'm doing it on top of the stove. And just cut the eye down low. And it's going to cook for about 30 minutes. I would say everything is just about done. I would say in about 20. When the potatoes and the carrots are tender, it's ready. Because everything else is there. So I'm going to let that simmer down a little bit, maybe a little bit more. If anybody, it's hard for me. I'm using my phone. I'm sorry. I should have used my tablet so I can see if there are any comments, questions, or criticisms. This is me. Don't want to show too much cleavage. I'm just kidding. I know we have some people there. Okay, good evening, or I should say good afternoon. Mid-evening, beginning of evening, almost the end of afternoon. I miss seeing my nieces on the when I'm live. Haven't seen them in there for a while. All right, now we're going to add the broth. And then I'll show you what it looks like. Now, I have some more of my tea. I just want to show you. I had some more of my tea in a pot in the oven. Trying not to get the little flowers in there. But anyway, I may need it with a little water. And let's give this a stir and see how we've cut the eye out. I don't want it to thicken up too fast. Oh, this looks good. Smells good. Now the key is to taste the seasoning. I just need to make sure I don't have to tell you to add a little of this or do a less of that. Oh my goodness. This is so good. Remind you, well, we didn't have too much beef coming up. But it does taste delicious. All right, we're gonna let your sauce thicken up. I'll put a lid on this, and I'll keep this extra that we did and to make sure we don't need it, or it'll be there on standby if I do need it. Okay. Now most people put it in the oven. Oh, it looked like meat. The jackfruit is incredible. I'm gonna let it cook down a little bit. And I'm gonna get a lid. Some smaller kitchen than what you're used to. Okay, for about 30 minutes. This is gonna simmer. It'll be simmering. I'm just taking it off so you can see it. And then I'm gonna come back and show you, take a picture of the final, when it's thickened down. It should cook down to half its sauce. And when the carrots and potatoes are nice and tender. And then it should be ready. Now, I don't know what most people eat with there. But we're gonna cut this all the way down and let it cook slowly. That doesn't take long, did it? It did not take long at all. Now some of people, I know my mother, when she did make it, she would, you know how you brown your chicken gravy? She would just do a little bit of that and put it in to thicken it instead of cornstarch. Sometimes she would just make flour gravy, so to speak. I call it a chicken gravy because that's the only time she made it when she was cooking chicken, which I could not stand. That's one of the things I used to get in trouble for. They would give me the drumstick. I didn't like that little sliver thing that was on it. And then they tried to die, and I didn't like that, so I guess I was destined to be a vegan. So, I want to thank everyone. We have about 30 minutes of letting this simmer, and we'll take a picture of it, show you the finished product. So remember, today we did Jackfruit Pot Roast. For those that came on late, I see some asking what the ingredients again, so we will go over it again. And I will post it on my YouTube community page. I put the recipes on there as well. So we had, of course, 2 tablespoons of olive oil in the skillet. We had 1 small onion, 2 cloves of garlic minced. We had 2 tablespoons of vegan Worcestershire sauce, or Worcestershire sauce I call it. My kitchen is very hot because I forgot to put that on. We have 1 cup of dried red wine that I made out of the hibiscus tea. We have a teaspoon of thyme, a teaspoon of rosemary, a teaspoon of salt, a half a teaspoon of cayenne pepper. Now remember the rosemary, if it calls for a teaspoon of dried rosemary. Then if you're using fresh, half that amount, because the fresh herbs are stronger than the dried herbs. Also, we had 2 cups of the vegetable broth, and we had, I did 3 potatoes, I'm sorry, and I did 3 carrots, and then a can of the young jackfruit. Drain off the liquid, yes. Somebody want to know you drain off the liquid? Yes, you do. Okay, so you have your ingredients, and if you watch this video, you will see how to make it. Of course, you start off putting your onions and your garlic and onions, then the jackfruit, then your your liquids and your seasonings, and then put your sauce, your liquid, which is your broth, and your cornstarch together. And here we are cooking it now. So, oh, it has darkened up like beef gravy. I thought I would have to add something brown. I want to show it to you. It's still cooking. And see how it has browned up a little bit. So we're going to keep cooking it down. And I'm going to try to invest in myself a hot plate so I don't have to turn my back to anybody. You don't need to be looking at my back. Okay, let's see the time. Didn't take us long. So I'm going to thank you for tuning in, watching, and go to my YouTube channel and join us on the community page. You get to see a lot of things on that. And also click like if you like. And just remember to be kind today. Today is Be Kind Day. Be kind first to someone else. And when you be kind to someone else, you're being kind to yourself. Okay? Y'all have a blessed day. Bon appetit. And I'll get back with you on the results in the next 25 minutes. Y'all have a blessed one.